Hello, this is John, Vintage Fisherman. I got one here I've never done before. I've actually never even seen another one of these. This is the only one I've ever seen. It is a Abu Garcia Cardinal 862 GTX, and it's kind of unusual. It's got a couple of neat things. Of course, quick release spool, which the Cardinals are kind of known for. It's got the quick pickup line, but it doesn't anti-reverse back to that same spot all the time like the Shimano's do that I just can't freaking stand that. And some of the other brands. You can cut the anti-reverse on and off. Got a preset on a drag, kind of like like a lever drag overhead reel. You can preset it and then you can go more or less on the fighting drag, like a fine adjustment. Like I said, I've never even seen one of these, much less been into it. So say a prayer for me. For a small reel, it looks very complicated. Well, let's take it apart. Nothing to do there. We'll just clean that up. Take the handle off. Got a folding handle. Not a lot to see there. It looks like to get it apart, I've got to at least take one of these levers off. I'm not too worried about the reel other than the drag system. I've never, like I said, I have no idea. So that off of there. Yeah, and there was a screw underneath there, so this had to come off first. I'm not gonna worry about the one on the other side just yet. I have to get the side cover off, I think, to get the shaft out, and then I can take the rotor off. That's how it normally goes with these spinning reels. Almost every spinning reel ever designed is kind of like that. Getting to the end of summer here in Virginia, and I haven't done much fishing. And I have two fishing videos out this whole summer. That's all I've been to the water. I've been to the coast one time. I'm going to try to go down here in a couple weeks. It's just been, this move has been pretty intense. And we're going real carefully. Slide that out. There's really not a whole lot there. There's not a bushing there. There's not a bearing, there's a bushing. And it was a shim. A little wavy washer, I guess, actually. There's a shim on here. We'll take that off, maybe. Okay. All right, so it looks like to get that shaft out, screw right there. And that's a locking thing, mechanism on there. So we're going to take some smaller pliers. Okay, everything's stirred around on the workbench here. Take that screw out. There's like a little plate that goes on and retains that crosswind block. Got that plate stuck now. There we go. And then this will just pull out. Shaft. Call it the axle shaft. Almost every reel is called that. Let's see if the crosswind block will come out. Yeah, there we go. We got that. This drag mechanism, this may not be too bad. Okay, let's flip it around here. We got a knob on this side. Let's not lose any parts, okay? But that's okay. This looks like a cartridge that goes in there. I kind of like it. I was a little worried about how it was made, but this comes out as a unit. I don't even need to. I don't need to service that. I'm going to put a mark on it, pen, so I know which side was what. I don't think it really matters. I don't even need to wash this. This reel's new; it hasn't been used, but I just wanted to see how it was made. You know, I like to fiddle with stuff. So the main gear comes out. It's going to need some new grease, but other than that, it's not too bad. There's a wire there, wraps around the main gear shaft and hooks into the anti-reverse. So when you try to go, when you're cranking, it lifts off and doesn't click. But when you try to crank backwards, it pops down and grabs that anti-reverse cog. Okay. And there's an idler gear in there. Take that out for your cross line. Next is that nut. Right hand thread. Probably a 10mm socket would have been a better choice than a adjustable wrench. That's just how I've always done it. Take that off. There is a bearing. We'll take that out in just a second. Let's peel off some layers here. We got that retainer. Well, not really a retainer. It's just, I guess it's kind of like a washer. It has a removable weight in it. That's kind of cool. We're not going to mess with that. I don't see any point in taking the rotor apart. It's like I said, the reel's brand new. I'll clean it up good. Dusty. So we're gonna leave that part of the reel alone. I do want to get into the bearing. So the last thing I'm gonna do to this reel, there's two bearings actually. Let's go in. Let's take these two retaining screws out. Phillips head. If you know anything about these reels, please let me know. I haven't found hardly any information about them. I think they were made in 1986, like a 1 year only type of thing. And that's all I really know. That retainer, this goes underneath that. Remember that. And then your bearing. That's it. You got bearing. Pay attention. Spacer. Your cog, which has to go on there the right way. And then there's a shim underneath that. I'm not going to take that off. There's no need to. I can clean it just fine like that. There's a bearing over here which probably has is it a bearing? I think it's a bushing. It's a bushing, so I'm gonna leave it alone. We'll clean it in there. That's it. That is the reel. Wow, it's kind of cool, isn't it? I'll clean it up and put it back together. It's going to go into my ultralight fishing lineup because it is an ultralight reel. I'm about to excuse me. So I'm about to sneeze. It's made for 2, 4, and 6 pound tests. I'll probably put 4 pound on. I fish with a lot of 4 pound tests. 200 yards of 4 pound test, which is an ungodly amount. If you're lake fishing, maybe, but stream fishing, you don't need more than 100 yards. If it gets 100 yards away, it's breaking off on a rock anyway. You got to figure if you're in a stream or a river, in the angle and the rocks that are in the river, bad things happen when you let a fish get that far away from you. So, I mean, if you're running a leader, you might gain a little bit of time, but distance. There it is. I'll do a cleanup to it, and when I come back, you're going to get to see me put it back together, which I don't think is going to be bad. I was kind of putting this reel off, to be honest with you, because it just looked like it was going to be a bear, but it's really not even dirty, number one. Number two, I don't have to go into the drag system. There's a plus. I didn't note this but when this came out, this is the spring plate, and it goes in like this down in here. It kind of fell out on me when I was doing this, but it basically just gets captivated in there, and those little springs, when you move these knobs, they click inside those little indentions in there, and that's kind of gives you a positive report that you're moving the levers. Okay, that's how that works. What else was need to look at down in here? That went back. Went in here like this. There should be a clicker. Hopefully it didn't fall out on me. For this right here, so when the spool is feeding out line, you got fish on, this thing here makes a clicking sound. But for the life of me, I don't see the, it's this one here. I don't see where the clicker is. Not sure what happened to it. Hopefully it didn't take off on me. Not on this. Interesting. Oh, I believe it's right here. No, that can't be right. It's far away. Well, it might be a mystery, folks. I don't know. I don't see it. Any of these? Well, we'll figure it out when we go back together, but there should be a clicker to make a positive report when your spool is turning, when drag is being played out. Okay? I would love to take this apart. Just by looking in there, I see it's like a drum. It's like a drum brake is what it looks like. They call it a disc brake, but it looks like a drum. Oh, there's it. There's the clicker inside the cover. So we're good. All right, we got it. All right, so I'll clean this up. We'll come back and we're going to have a really cool reel to put back together. I'm really excited about this. I'll be back. All right, I'm back. I've got this unique Abu Garcia Cardinal cleaned up. I've never seen one like it. I mean, it's truly unique. I just took it apart literally minutes ago. So I'm going to put it back together. Get it right here. That one in there like that, and it had a I don't have a schematic on this, folks, so bear with me. Get some grease up in there. Grease on Yeah, we'll figure it out as we go. That went back on like that, and then painter probably should pay attention to that, huh? Would have been important. I would say it goes like this. The bearing seems to be sticking out just a little bit. I'm not sure. Okay. It wasn't seated. Feels awful tight. Crazy about that. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, like I said, I'm working on something here. I've never. This will only go one way. Feel pretty confident I've got that on there right. Uh, this feels tight. Like it needs to be. There it goes. Now, it wasn't seated all the way. There we go. Okay, that's a good thing. We can go ahead and put the rotor. I didn't have to do anything to the rotor. I have a shim down in there. I put the shim back in it. I didn't see where that shim went anywhere else, but we'll find out when we get it all together. We'll see how it all fits. Then you had this little retainer went up in there, and then the nut. Give it a little bit of grease there. Hold the. You can hold on to the rotor and tighten the nut down. You don't have to kill this thing with a lot of torque. Why is it doing that? That ain't correct. Okay, let's take that back apart. Not happy with that. Something's not together right up under there. That's got a hitting, hitting all the time. It wasn't like that before. Okay, I see where the problem is. I don't have it together right. Imagine that. I was wondering why does it have that little tab? Now I know that that tab on that retainer goes up into a slot. I'll try to show you here in just a second. Parts flying everywhere, of course, but let's just take it back apart and start over. That goes right there. You see that tab on there goes up into that groove. Okay, like that. We'll put the screws in. It doesn't want to line up. Let it go. Okay, there we go. This has to go behind that black block right there. Get one screw in it. I didn't go back and look at my video because I literally just took it apart. I thought, well, I'll be all right. I just did this. You know. Apparently, my memory is going. I'll be walking around bumbling and talking to myself before you know it. Okay, so we got that. And your nut goes back. Simple fix. So if you have one of these reels and you take that apart, that's how it goes back together. Now let's see. Look at that. And it should. It should. Okay, there we go. I was turning it the wrong way. I was like, what did I do wrong now? Okay, there we go. All right. Back on track. Next thing in is this retainer block, this spring block here. Sits in there like that. And then your drag assembly slides in over top of that. Leave that like that for a second. Here. And the crosswind gear goes down in there. Get in. Give it pretty good coating of grease. And we need to coat the pinion with grease. Then, things want to fall apart on me. That little wire has to go into that slot. So what we need to do is, before we even get there, set that right there. We need to lubricate this gear. I don't remember there being a shim down there, and I've only got 2 shims left. They go on the handle side of this. So we can do a pretty liberal amount of grease there. All right. Fall apart on me. It's kind of a tricky little situation here. It's got to go. I don't even know how I got it out of there, but I did. You got to kind of open that window up right there. You see where you got that slot? Get that wire lined up. Okay, and then you should be able to, oh gosh, it's all falling apart on me. This is a tough one, folks. Doesn't want to stay in, nothing wants to stay in place. I'm going to take that back out for now. There, now we got that in there. Rotate it around to the crosswind block. Go on there. Grease on it. Crosswind block like this. Okay. Now we're going to put the drag back in it again. Little spring plate doesn't want to stay. Really nothing to hold it. Remember, I marked it when I took it out with the black marker, so I know it goes back in there like that. Okay, your shaft, put it in here, give it a little bit of oil. Got to go into the cross line block. And there's 2 grooves. You got to get them lined up. This is a complicated little reel. Not a whole lot of parts, but what goes in it are kind of neat. So you got to put that, locks the shaft in there, see, like that. Then you'll have 1 screw that goes in there. Try to get that in there without. Everything's going to fall apart on me again, of course. Yep. Oh boy. Okay. Now I'm in a pickle. There we go. This fell out. I hope I can get it back in there without having to pull it all the way back apart. You would think if something comes apart with it together, it should go back together with it together, but fishing reels aren't always that simple. Let's try to stick this in there with just okay. Stick that on the screwdriver and get it started. Nope, we're not. Golly. All right, let's try my screw setter. Haven't used it in a while. Don't know where I got this thing. It's been a handy tool over the years. You can see when you push it down, it's got 2 little flat points there, and you put it into the screw and push it down. It holds the screw for you. So you can at least get it started, just like that. It works good for fellows like me with oversized fingers. Okay, I've got the spring thing, Bobby, back in there. This was you had this shim and this, and plate goes on. We need to lubricate. I think all this is right. That spring plate catching right there. Oh, maybe not. All right, got that. Now these screws will go back in. They're all the same. Now this reel really didn't need anything, but I was curious as to how it worked, how it's made. I want to take it apart, so um, and maybe if you've got one out there, because there's probably no other video on this reel out there anywhere. If you've got one out there and you need to know how it goes back together, I hope this video will help you out just a little bit. Okay. Now here you've got these little star there, and then you got this side here gets the preset. Put a little bit of grease in that hole there. You got to kind of slide it down over top of that little spring. Not making a sound. It should be making a sound. There it goes. Put your screw in. I'm sure there's a way that preset's supposed to go. We're just going to try it and see what it does. I think that's about right. Okay. And over here, it's basically the same thing. Actually, let's put, well, try to do it like this. Put that on there. A little bit of grease. And I don't remember how loose the drag was. We'll say that that's pretty loose, and then it gets tighter. We'll say it pointing up in that direction is probably about as loose as it gets. You got to slip it up over top of that little spring. Pop it in place. Hold it till you get the screw in it. We'll see how it does. I went pretty fast on this reel. I hope everybody got it. I don't want to go back and have to do it over again. There we go. Yeah, that's about right. So, and then of course your handle in a little bit of grease in there to seal it. I use pin grease. Sometimes I use cow's grease. Cow's universal reel and drag grease can be used on the reel and the drags inside the reel. And there it is, folks. Let's see how it works here. That's pretty dang smooth. We got pretty good drag. I may have to readjust that at some point. Get the preset. So I guess more preset, the tighter the drag will get. Yeah, something like that. Let's see how it does with the drag. Okay, so that's all drag off. Let's go with a mediocre preset. That's probably about a half a pound of drag. That's not a lot of drag. No. So we probably need to start this one off right there. Okay, let's take it back off. You see where I got it pointed? I'm gonna turn around and point it right to the top. This is me not knowing how to adjust this drag. I'm just I'm winging it here. It's by feel, okay? And I'm setting a preset on it. So, it's infinite, pretty much infinite. You'll take that little star and put it back on there, but you're going to take this, you'll get up underneath that little clicker. And then you got to get that star seated on there. Why is it not seating? This is great. Okay. Well, I'd say it's about right. That's it. Didn't feel like it was going in there. So we're going to go with that one right there. See what it does. Okay. That gets more drag, and that's almost locked down right there. Okay. The preset, we've determined that's probably about mid-range right there, or that's the low end of it, about right there. So we'll take this off. And we'll move it about right there. I'm just guessing here, folks. Tighten that back down. What you would need is a scale. Put some line on your reel, put it on your rod or whatever, and run the line through the guides and put a scale at your workbench and pull against it and set your drag. 4-pound test, you don't need more than about a pound of drag. Okay, so that's I think that's good right there. I'm going to go with it. wipe off all the excess oils and greases, and little made in Japan sticker just fell off. Went on right there. Stick it back on there. Once the stuff dries, it'll re-stick. So I have no problem with reels that are made in Japan. I'll tell you right now, Japanese do quality work. The Chinese, I mean, it's hit and miss. Some stuff is really good and some stuff is not. We all know that as consumers, we run into that. I'm sorry, I'm off frame. I'm wiping off the excess oil and stuff. But as consumers, we know that sometimes you get stuff from China. It's just not great. Nothing against the Chinese people. They're gifted people. It's just their government. They don't have a free capital system over there. Their government pretty much runs everything. And because it's a socialist type country, and you're kind of forced to do your job. It's not something you do because you love. Japanese, a little bit different situation here, and people really love what they do when they do something with good quality work. So there it is. That is a Cardinal 862 GTX with the funniest looking drag system I've ever seen in my life on a fishing reel. That's full drag. I would assume it's a lot like a lever drag overhead reel or trolling reel, where you would set the preset first and then do your final adjustment. So that's cool. I like it. I mean, isn't it pretty? I'm sorry about the lesson on my viewpoints. Those are just my viewpoints on quality out between China and Japan. The Japanese love to fish too. I'm telling you, these people are crazy about fishing over there. They build good quality fishing gear. So the Chinese build fishing gear because that's what they're told they have to do. That's my take on it. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. And I'll be back with more videos. I'm actually a couple weeks ahead on videos right now. So I'm getting ready to tear down another reel right now. So thank you. Talk to you later.